Hello, everyone. This is Logan Evans here on our new podcast today, Kent Talks, where I'm going to be going through every episode talking about some deeply held concern or hope or dream for the city of Kent, and sometimes the county, and much more rarely the state around us. I'll be bringing the full weight of my history and social political background and daily life experiences to this, and my dreams. Here today, though, I have my chief executive, Wu, who's going to help today with our topic, which is a focus on transit and infrastructure. And Wu is going to be bringing in his fantastic experiences abroad and in America regarding cities that actually have good transit and infrastructure compared to us here in Kent.
Yes, of course. Well, let's get started. First, let me ask Logan here, what do you think of the current transit and infrastructure of Kent?
Well, as I subtly implied, it is bad. It's just annoying to get around. Oh my God, we have traffic and it sucks. Covington, and all these other people, they build these new roads, but they're not actually like designed for the traffic they have, and they get semi trucks going through, and now it's a half hour in Kent to get out of Kent. I mean, like literally, I used to measure time to Seattle by going 44 minutes, right? Oh, it's 44 minutes to get to Seattle. No, it's now like an hour because it takes 30 minutes to escape Kent sometimes.
Let me ask you a simple question. I know you obviously have a car, you drive to work and back every day. Let's say, what would you do if all of a sudden you didn't have a car? Do you think you could use the transportation in Kent to move around, get your job, buy groceries, etc.?
No. I mean, okay, groceries, I am lucky in a sense. I am living at the Alvista Lake Meridian apartment complex, which for whatever problems it has, is conveniently placed next to Sunshine Corner Nutrition, so I can walk there and to Lake Meridian, and I'm very close to many park trails. But I have to walk across 5 lanes of traffic. And there are a lot of families that will... Sorry, I mean walk across. I will walk around and use the light. There are a lot of families here that will charge across those 5 lanes in a great game of chicken or red light, green light. So no, the answer is no. I couldn't get to work. I would have to Uber, and that would eat up half my salary, which is already eaten up by my rent. Or I would have to get into auto theft, which has other implications, especially as I am a school teacher. It's not a great career to get into... federal theft crimes, I guess. Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, the answer is no, in short. Jokes aside, the answer is no.
How would you rate the bus system here? For me, when I think of a good, well-built city, I always think of the bus transportation. I always think that's the number one public transportation is by bus. How would you rate the bus transportation here in Kent?
You know, it's funny because I realized in my brief rant I went on about how I would get to work or life, I didn't even consider the bus. I considered car theft before busing in Kent. And that is because the busing is terrible here. I used to do them a lot as a kid, and that was when traffic was less bad. And yeah, it takes literally an hour and a half to get places. The buses do long, incredibly winding routes. And that was before drug addicts and weird people made the buses uncomfortable to use.
Okay. Also, going to be another point I was going to bring up. Do you think it's safe to ride the bus?
No.
You feel the bus is clean? Like, would you, if you're wearing all white pants, would you feel that after sitting in a bus seat, they'll still remain white?
Yeah, my bleach clothes. You know what? The answer is no. There's just a feeling of uncleanliness, and most importantly, there's a lack of safety. I remember feeling the difference as a teenager between the buses in Kent versus the buses in like Bellevue. And again, no, it's just like I have female students and I have female friends who are adults who have dealt with kind of mentally unstable perverts who would masturbate while staring at them on the bus. As a man, thankfully, this is not something I have to deal with. Instead, I just have to deal with the discomfort of these drug addicts on the bus or weird fish-eyed people. It's just uncomfortable. The bus is not a good place to be, and I would only use it in utter utter absolute desperation, I would actually call a friend who lives in Renton to drive me somewhere before I would use a bus here.
Do you think the bus stops are safe? Let's take Kent Station as an example. Do you think that's a safe bus stop or safe transit hub?
There are safe bus stops in Kent. That is not one of them, and especially it is not safe at certain times of night or the early morning. It's also just uncomfortable because, again, the issue with drug addicts is you never know when they're going to snap. They behave erratically.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think another big issue is kind of like the bus drivers, or I guess maybe it's not a problem with them, but just allowing like these certain individuals on the bus, which obviously causes problems for the riders.
Yeah, and this comes down to a policy issue because you have to ask then, like, I mean, what are the codes around it? Are they obligated to let them on in the first place? You know, and like, do they know not to? And these questions happen in cities that do not have good security or safety. Versus, tell me your experience with transit in cities that have good infrastructure and good transit. What does it look like? What were these cities like?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously a very easy or good example is the transportation in China. I think certainly buses are like the number one public transportation option there. The number two is probably subways. But I think, yeah, over there, like when you're going to take a bus, like it's very frequent. Like usually there's a bus every 5 to 10 minutes, and obviously I think most people actually sometimes prefer to take the bus just because of all the traffic and everything. And the bus is usually very clean, and most of the bus now, and they're slowly converting to electric, so nice and quiet, and nice and clean. When you take the bus, you get on it and sit there and go from point A to point B. And most of the bus routes almost covers like the entire city, so you could almost, I guess in a sense, live without a car. You might have to make like a few different transfers, but there will be a bus that's able to take you from point A to point B.
You know, thank you. And this is huge because I know China. Okay, so Kent's a city of like 144,000 people. I think in China, we'd say that'd be what, like a city of 1 million, maybe?
Yeah,
Equivalent?
definitely 1 million or bigger.
And which city is it easier to get around in?
I think definitely in China, of course.
Yeah, you got a city with 1 million people, and it's easy to get around. I felt the same way in Russia. Again, in Russia, Moscow, St. Petersburg, cities of millions plus people, city of 2 million people. Again, you're right. You can take a bus anywhere, like far off parks. Like imagine if we could take a bus that would connect you to Flaming Geyser State Park. It's just on the route. And it's not a 3-hour journey where you're like, oh God, I wish I could just drive here, right? No, it's just there. And you loop around, you connect, it's sweet, it's easy, it's nice. Oh, but that's a city of millions, and you can get around them easier than here, even with a car.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the resolutions to this problem? Like, what do you think are some fixes to the bus system? Like, do you think we need to increase the frequency of the buses or change some of the routes?
So this is something that we didn't get into, and this is a key issue with suburban infrastructure in America. So before the 1960s, America actually had similar dense urban cities compared to Europe or anywhere in the world. They were beautiful, they were nicely designed cities, they were good. And thus you could live in these cities, and the benefit of cities is that there's enough people living in a concentrated space that it makes walking efficient, and it also makes having a bus with a small range, relatively speaking, efficient. Because that bus carries a huge number of people, even if it's only crossing like, we might say like a ring, right? So the density really helps it. After the 1960s, though, America passed a bunch of laws that essentially legalized crime, you could say, and that caused the great outflux, the great fleeing of the cities. And when people fled to the cities, they developed these suburban neighborhoods. And the suburban neighborhoods are designed like isolated fortresses. Really, it's like they're isolated. You can't walk from them easily. You can't get them with a bus easily. And it was done to make them protective. The point of all of this, though, is that you will never be able to design a bus system that fixes this, because you would have to have too many buses. It would be too expensive, and each bus would only carry a few people. So to fix this, what we need to do is to redesign the city itself. We have to start developing a dense urban core with like 10, 20-story buildings, condominiums that people can live in, not apartments, right? We want to do homes at first. Apartments actually would follow. They would be connected apart, right? But we do that. Then as we get that density, we can start having walkable busing type infrastructure, right?
Like, where would you start this? Like in downtown Kent Station? What location?
Yeah, so Kent Station is a great spot. And the first place I would do it is, of course, the new Kent Des Moines light rail station. You want the light rail because you want to have that direct connection to Seattle. But logically, the downtown is also a great area. We want to build up, not Kent Station because it's already built up, but the area around there. This gets into adjacency issues, right? But you could really, literally level and raise the entirety of downtown Kent, and you could make a dense, beautiful place where it is easy to walk around, that it is comparable to Chicago, comparable to, give me a city in Beijing that you love. I mean, not Beijing, city in China that you love.
Like Shanghai.
Shanghai, comparable to Shanghai, comparable to some of the nicer cities in Europe. Again, we don't need the scale of them, right? But we could have that ease of movement.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like the location of where the light rail is going to be built here in Kent. It's right next to I-5, so it's convenient getting on and off the highway. I think making that like a transit hub would be a great location. And like what you're saying, building the condominiums and the buildings there would be very convenient for people to like go to Tacoma, to Seattle, or to drive, just hop on I-5, then yeah.
Get off at the light rail. I didn't even think about that. You're right, it is next to I-5. At first I thought they just hated us because I'm like, why would they not build the light rail in the downtown? This is insane. I hate these people. But you actually make a good point that it's next to I-5. Ah, well, groovy. I mean, it's still really inconvenient for me because now to get there, like, I mean, seriously, I'll tell you what, to get there, I feel dangerous driving through Kent to get it. I might as well take the highway. Do a loop around Kent. Actually, that's a pretty good urban design thing now that I say about it. Having European-style outer city highways instead of having highways that go through the city. Oh.
Well, that will wrap up for this episode today. Well,
yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chief Executive Wu. I appreciate this.
Of course. Right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yes. Signing off. Have a great day and see you next episode where we'll talk about, certainly, something else exciting.